Hey, good morning. It's Wednesday, November 9th. I have taste. I'm still alive. We survived Election Day. Election Day is over. Hopefully, we can stop with the texts and the mail and the commercials and go back to life. George, what is up? Good evening to you. So I have nothing to talk about today. Zilch. We'll figure something out, right? We will figure something out. If you didn't watch Hobby Hotline last night, phenomenal, which I knew it would be because it's our friends John and Rich that were hosting the show. Love listening to those guys. And I'm like, let's get a third guy on there. So I reached out to my buddy Ethan Roberts, by the way, has rookie cards and Topps Update. And I'm like, hey, you free? And so he's like, yeah, absolutely. So we got Ethan Roberts on Hobby Hotline, and fantastic interview with Ethan, John, and Rich talking cards, talking baseball. So if you didn't watch it last night, check it out on Hobby Hotline. It was really cool and shared some fun stories, some cool stuff. So check it out, Hobby Hotline from last night. Victor, what's happening? What's up, Andrew and Dean? Good morning to you guys. Victor, thank you very much. David says, good morning. Did you mention the book you were looking for yesterday or did I miss it? Oh, David, thank you. No, I did not. I don't think I shared that story. I might. Did I? I don't think I shared that story. During my Topps Archives break, I had mentioned, by the way, what's up, Zach and Porter? No chat. Okay. Brian Dean, what's up? Good morning. It's trash day. Yeah. So by the way, Zach reminded me, Brian, you reminded me yesterday morning. Zach reminded me last night. And guess what I didn't do? I didn't take the trash out last night, but I did take the trash out when I woke up this morning. And here's this is how stubborn I am. Zach, when did Zach doesn't have chat, but Zach had texted me or messaged me in a group chat or something. He's like, hey, don't forget to take your trash out. And this was last night. And it's like, yeah, but I was down in the basement and I'm like, yeah, I'll just do it later. The king of procrastination. So I go upstairs. My wife was watching election coverage, so I was intrigued because I did want to see how some of the races came out. But I'm like, oh yeah, I'll take the trash out, and I didn't. And then I went upstairs to get ready for bed. I look out my window, and the neighbor across the street was taking the trash out, and I'm like, I should probably go down, but it's like, you know what? I'll just do it in the morning. It's only trash. It was if it was recycle day, which was last week, I would have been much more. I would have like ran down the steps and taken everything out. But it's like it's trash day. It was pretty light. Like there's like 2 bags. Our recycle's like already full. But the trash, there's only a couple bags. So even if I missed, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But this morning I looked out the window and I saw the trash cans. It's like, you know what? Before I go live this morning, I'm going to make the coffee. Coffee's most important. Trash is second. So I made the coffee and then I took the trash out. So the trash is at the curb. And thank you for the reminders. Andrew became a Ethan Roberts fan last night. He's such a cool, down to earth dude. Collects his own cards. Collects others. He collects other cards as well. But he has what's really cool about Ethan's collection, and this is like, and I don't like the term true collector, but he's like he loves collecting. Like a lot of the guys that are like Phil Hughes, for example. Phil Hughes is just he's kind of like one of the flipper guys. Coming from a guy that makes a living selling baseball cards, but you get my point. I hope. But Ethan like collects for like I mean, his own, like, how cool would that be? Like, I don't think any of us can imagine having a Topps baseball card and collecting it, collecting our own card. Like, that's just, it would be surreal. So he collects his own cards. He collects some of his teammates' cards. He's friends with David Robertson, who's now with the Phillies. Collects his cards. Who else does he collect? He collects just like some random stuff. He'll like show off. We have a group chat, and he'll just be like, "Here's what I got in the mail today," and it's David Robertson and some of his parallels. So, by the way, if you do see, he's pretty close to completing the rainbow. He's been on it. He does have one of the printing plates. It surfaced just the other night, like Monday night, I think it surfaced, and he was able to get the deal done. So he's missing the other printing plates, the platinum 1 of 1, and the acetate numbered to 10, which their one did surface, and it was sold, and he's been in contact with the person who bought it, trying to get a deal done there. And then I think he needs still the Father's Day and Mother's Day parallels, but he has everything else. So he's just missing the 1 of 1s, the clear acetate, and the Mother's Day and Father's Day. And there's a bunch of us that are like looking, and I was in 40, I think 40, I think I'm at like 41 or 42 player case breaks for Ethan. And I've had, I think 10 cases shipped to 10 cases of the cards of Ethan's cards shipped. And all base and 2 gold. That's all I've got so far. But I do know I was in a 20 case player break, and I do know there was a black of 71, but I don't know what else. I really only watched a few of the case breaks, so it's kind of like when I get the mail, it's gonna be a surprise. So it'd be really sweet if I could get one of those he needs and be like, "Hey, man, here you go." Who do we have in the chat? Let's see. Victor said he messaged you last night. Zach says yes, right before Hobby Hotline. Because I was on the couch. Surprise. That's what I do. I was on the couch getting ready for Hobby Hotline. I think I was listing some cards as well on eBay. Red Light 34, what's happening? Good morning to you. Kyle Katz, what's up? Good morning. Got the freezer mostly full of fresh venison yesterday, so get to listen today. That's awesome. I had this is something that I don't keep top of mind, like scheduling card shows. Deer season is and I did run into this last year, and I do remember, I think the November show like coincided with deer season. So I had a dealer text me the other night. He's like, "Hey, when's the show?" I'm like, November 19th. He's like, "Oh my God, that's like the first weekend of, I think, gun season, maybe. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I'll have to go back in the text. But anyway, a deer season. He's like, now I have to choose between deer hunting and the card show. And I'm like, hey, the deer will be waiting for you on Sunday. Do the card show Saturday, hunt Friday and Sunday. So that's something we have to compete with. Card shows in competing with hunting seasons in Wisconsin. Dan's with us. Oh, by the way, thank you, Dan. I had several people reach out to me. If you received a friend request from me on Facebook, it's not me. So I went in, I woke up to a bunch of messages this morning. Like, hey, did you send me a Facebook friend request? And it's like, no, I'm not very active. I don't even know how does Facebook hacking work? Like, I see it all the time. Like, don't accept a friend request from me. I was hacked. And I don't know, because I don't click on links. I don't and maybe this is why, because I never log out of Facebook. It's always like my password is just locked in, so I can just double click and I'm in Facebook. So I don't do much on Facebook as far as I'll post Madison Card Show stuff, and like my 1 Million Cubs. If you follow, I do have a Facebook group or page for 1 Million Cubs project. Basically, I don't do anything with that. It all goes through Instagram. Maybe that's how. But I'm not active on Instagram either. If I post something, I just go to Instagram, I post a picture, hey, this is my mail day, and then it goes to my 1 million Cubs Facebook page automatically. So I don't know how this hacking on Facebook happens. I always thought, because usually it was like my mom and like people of a certain age. I'm not discriminating, but it seems like the Facebook hacking happens to our parents and those that are of their age. And so it happened to me. I don't know if I've ever like had to be like, hey, don't accept a friend request. I got hacked. So apparently I did. So this is the real me, I swear. So I looked it up this morning. So I responded to everybody that had messaged me. I'm like, no, that wasn't me. This is me, I swear. So I searched myself on Facebook, and there's 3 accounts that are trying to pose it. 2 of them are female accounts, or they're me pretending to be a woman, because it says Bo Spencer Thompson changed her profile picture, and it's like, hey. One of them had 6 friends, like mutual friends. So I reported every one of them. So if you receive a friend request, and I never send friend requests out, but that's not saying if you send me a friend request, I will accept you. But I just don't go out and send friend requests. Every once in a while I will, every once in a while. But let's say in the next few days, if you receive a friend request from me, it's not me. So don't accept it. And if we're not friends already, you can send me a request, and hopefully you get the real Slim Shady. Abraham, what's up? Good morning to you. John says, I'm at the point in life where doing my taxes is more fun than watching election coverage. I'm not quite there. I'm getting there. But you have to watch. If you watch MSNBC with Steve Kornacki, I mean that's the entertaining part. It's not the actual election coverage. It's just watching Steve Kornacki and that map. That's a lot of fun. The talking heads I don't listen to. I'll look at the results. Oh, okay. This candidate I want to win is winning. This candidate I want to win is not winning. Hey, here's Steve Kornacki. So that's the part I enjoy. I still loathe even more so now doing like I thought doing like when you're just employed, not self-employed, but you're employed, you work for a company, they send you the paperwork for taxes, you just give them to the person who prepares your taxes, and then it's like, okay, they're like, okay, what did you buy this year that we can finagle and say we can write this off? And I thought that was a pain, and then now having my own business, it's like, oh my God. So taxes are still a giant suck fest for me, and probably will be for a while. George says, once I start publishing my books, I'll collect them. There you go. Christian, what's up? Good morning. Went to the Wings game last night. As much as I love baseball and football, nothing beats seeing hockey live. I don't enjoy hockey whatsoever. But going to a hockey game is fun. Especially if you're down. We had season tickets for a minor league hockey team, not me, but the radio station I worked for. And we couldn't give those damn tickets away. So we always had tickets that were in the studio. It's like, hey, let's go to the Peoria Rivermen game. And the tickets were freaking awesome. Like the tickets were for the Rivermen games, our season tickets were on the glass at the tunnel. So we were like first row in the corner, like the 4 seats in the corner. Like I would think those are like the best seats in the house, because you can like, hey, you suck. You can do that like next to the tunnel. You can bang the glass like in the movies. So I didn't go to near enough hockey Rivermen games as I should have, having those tickets on hand. And then we would when people would finally like call in and say, I want those tickets, they would report back. They're like, hey, we want to go again. Those seats are awesome. So then word got around. But for the most part, nobody wanted to go to the river. And like where I was at Macomb, Peoria was such a hike, and there was no like direct route, route. By the way, John Keating said Route 66 last night on Hobby Hotline. Route. So there was no direct route from Macomb to Peoria. You had to like zigzag. There was like a shortcut if you would. So I would drive from Macomb out to like the 9-mile mark. So it's 9 miles to the T. And then you take a left on a highway for like 2 miles. And then you take a right on another highway. You go through small towns like New Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground where I spend most of my days, which New Philadelphia was like a hamlet. It was like population 30. New Philadelphia. And then Marietta, which had, it was the big town. It was like 100 people, 100 people with 2 bars, one on each side of the highway. Rico's and what was the other one? The one across the street, not Rico's, had the Testicle Festival. So that's where you would eat your testicles. Where's the sex spots now? And then you would get to like Cuba, and then in Cuba you took like the blacktop to cut into Canton. And then Canton, boom, you're into Peoria. But it was like a pain in the ass. And there were deer, because this is mostly Fulton County. And Fulton County was filled with deer. When I worked for the Peoria Chiefs, one summer when I was working at the university, because there's no athletics during the summer. So it's like, hey, I need something sporty in my life. So my buddy worked for the Chiefs. I'm like, hey, give me a job. I just want to work for the baseball team for a summer. So when I worked for the Chiefs, you know, games are 6, 7 o'clock start times. It's an hour and a half drive from Peoria. So, you know, you're getting done at 10 o'clock at night. I'm driving late at night. In one summer, I hit 2 deer on my drive home from a baseball game. The first one I hit, well, he hit me. He like ran right into my back fender as I'm doing like 70 down the highway. And I saw him out of the corner of my eye, and then I heard the whoop, and I'm like, oh shit. And I like pulled over, and like it's dark. It's midnight out in the middle of nowhere, Fulton County. So I couldn't see. And I don't even know if I had I don't know if cell phones had flashlights at this point in time. It was the summer of 2012. So it was 10 years. There was probably a flashlight on my phone, but I don't know. I couldn't see it. So New Philadelphia, born and raised, that was the next, not literally, that was the next little town, because it was between Marietta and New Philadelphia where this one occurred. So I pulled off into New Philadelphia. There's a small like used car dealership in New Philadelphia. And I pulled off, and I inspected. They had the giant bright lights, you know, over the cars. So I like the deer hit me. Like I felt the clunk, but there was like no damage whatsoever. But the second one, that one was a bad one. That one, it was a direct hit with the hood of my car. And so I had to take it to Swedes Auto Body, where they've been fixing fenders since 49. So I took it to Swedes Auto Body, and he fixed my fenders up. 2 deer, 1 baseball season. Let's see. Pat Neshek is an auto. Yeah, Pat Neshek is a big collector. He collects autographs. Victor says your 1 million card should be an Ethan Roberts card. I actually thought about doing like a side project, 1,000 Ethan Roberts rookie cards, base rookies, because I think in the breaks that I'm in, I think I'm going to end up having pretty close to 400 base rookie cards of Ethan Roberts from all the breaks. So it's like, let's do. So I think I am going to do like a binder, an Ethan Roberts binder, like just nothing but Ethan Roberts Topps Update rookie cards. And then I do want to have I want to get one of the Ultra Pro Padfolios and do like my Ethan Roberts collection. Clark, what's happening? Good morning to you. Terry, good morning. Zach says OJ collected his own memorabilia too, I hear. Okay, no, I'm done. Herman, what is up? Good morning from my couch. Well, Herman, I am happy to hear that you were on the couch. I hope you're feeling better and recovering well. Glad to have you in the chat, and happy you're on the couch. Dan says, I don't think it was a hack because you already are my friend on there, so it had to be a new account. Yeah, it was a new account. There was 3 of them. So I reported every one of them, and I think other people did report them as well because I got an email. I had a couple emails this morning about one of your accounts has been reported or something. So let's see. So yeah, they are new accounts. So it wasn't like my personal account wasn't hacked, but a new one was made. So whatever that means, I don't know. Let's see. John says it was a clone, not a hack, a clone. Yes, a clone. A hack means getting spam from your account. Friend request just means it's a clone. Okay, I was cloned. I was cloned 3 times. Cooter says more than one bow. Scary. John says I'll have my clone reach out to your clone. Herman says feeling a little better. They're not sure what's going on, but the good part is there was no change to the worse to the previous conditions. Well, that is good to hear. Hopefully, you're on the mend soon. John says election day is a suck fest. I can't disagree with that. Thanks for making my point for me. Election day is a giant suck fest. But at least election day is kind of the opposite of Christmas Day in like every sense of the word. And what I mean by that is like for me, and this is how Christmas is like once we hit Christmas Day, it's like, it's over. And so Christmas Day is like, and I shouldn't think like this, but like from November 1st until December 24th, it's like, it's Christmas time. Let's watch Hallmark movies. And it's fun and happy. And then it's Christmas Day. And it's like, well, now it's over. Now what? Now it's freaking winter for 4 months in Wisconsin. Son of a bee. But election day, it's like for how many ever months we have to listen and watch these damn commercials, get the text messages, get the junk mail. And then it's election day. It's like, yeah, it's election day. No more of this BS on commercials and texts and mail. It's election day. So election day isn't the suck fest. It's the season. The season is a giant suck fest. Election day is like the culmination of the sucking. And then it's over. We can wake up. We're still alive. My pet peeve with people that are, and I've seen it a lot, like especially now. Today is the day you should stay off Facebook because your friends, especially those that have different views from you, are going to be pissed off. And Illinois is the worst state, and I'm going to move, but I can't. And it's like they say, the world is going to end because this politician, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, Republican, Democrat, they're all heathens and devils, and you're all going to die because this guy got elected. But it's not so bad. It's like, well, this politician was elected, and he's gonna kill us all, and the world's gonna end in my state because this guy got elected, and I'm gonna move, but I can't. I can't because I can't pull my kid out of school. But wait, the world's going to end because this politician was. So you're going to keep your kid in the state that's going to go to hell in a handbasket? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So I'm going to try my best to stay off social media today so I don't have to look at that BS. And I've already seen enough of it because I had to go on Facebook this morning and answer messages because I was cloned. John says, I used to have the best seats in the house at Big Al's. I get that reference. Who else gets that? I know I've got some Peoria viewers here. I will admit I've never been to the new Big Al. So I don't know when the most recent time you were in Peoria, John. But Big Al's has moved. And you know what? I think Big Al's had moved when I was working in Peoria 10 years ago. So it's actually closer to the baseball stadium. But I've stepped into Big Al's a time or two. Let's see. John says used to yell, "You suck" as well. But I'm done. Victor says I have to go to a Zoom meeting. I'll watch later. Thanks for jumping on. I appreciate it. Big L's also at a testicle festival. Andrew says, explain the Ethan Roberts connection. So, New Philly deer are dicks. Yes, they are. Those Fulton County deer, there's something else. So I've known Ethan since he was drafted. So, and it is baseball card related how we were connected. So in 2018, he was drafted by the Cubs. And remember yesterday I was talking about the main reason I got an iPhone was the Rookies app. So the genesis of my friendship with Ethan Roberts is all thanks to Apple and the iPhone. That's how it goes back. Because I made the decision to get an iPhone because of the Rookies app, I created custom cards. One of them was Ethan Roberts, and he wanted a bunch, and so I hooked him up, and then we just kind of kept in communication over the years. So that's essentially that's our connection. So in 2018, I made and this was back when the MLB draft was 40 rounds. I made a custom Cubs draft pick card of every player just for my own personal collection. Little did I know, many of the draft picks were interested in having their own card. And I probably made extras for 20 of the players that were picked, including Brennan Davis was one guy that reached out and wanted some. So Brennan and Ethan, Miguel and Miguel Pabon and I, we still communicate quite a bit. He switched positions, so I'm making some new cards for him. But yeah, there was a bunch of guys that reached out. Ethan was one of them. And we just kind of shot the bull over the years. And we did not get to, so we didn't actually meet in person until this past year's spring training. I was down in Arizona in 2020, right before COVID, but I was there early. And so him and like half the minor league guys had not yet reported. So we didn't connect in 2020. And obviously 2021 was the COVID year. So then we got to meet in 2022. So that's the connection. Dates back to when he was drafted in 2018. Hooked him up with some custom cards, and we just kind of kept the line of communication open. And now we have a Cubs group chat, Cubs collector group chat. And so he's part of it. Like we were talking about his rookie card, and I'm like, one of the guys in the group chat was like, I was telling him about, I've been going back and forth with Ethan about his cards, and they're like, we should invite him to this group. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, hey, would you, like, it's just a bunch of fans, but we're big Cubs collectors, would you have any interest? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So he's the most active participant in our group chat. Like he shows his mail days. He's showing pictures on eBay of, like he's the most active guy. He's the most active collector in our group chat. So like, he every single day, like throughout the day, we're talking cards and baseball. Let's see. Cooter says, thank goodness we have Jenny. Otherwise this show would be called test. It is. Let's see. The hobby needs more ladies. I agree. I have noticed I've had a couple women reach out about eBay sales, which is great to see the diversity. So I've had a couple ladies reach out, asking advice on eBay sales, the Fujitsu scanner. So it's really cool to see. We need diversity in many, just diversity in general, because you walk into a card show and it's 99% white dudes. And it'd be nice to have a little more diversity in the hobby. Steve Ains Comedy says, good morning. I'm in the house. What's up, Steve? In the house. Terry says, I've taken the Peoria to Macomb route. You are exactly right. It is. And they're they've been I think they've been talking about a direct route from like Peoria to Quincy, Peoria to Macomb since the 50s and 60s. And it's never really come to fruition. There's like some of the farmers like on that route are against it because it'll, break up farmland. And And I know when I was still living there, 2012, 13, 14, it was starting to heat back up because they had that area like Macomb back in like the late 60s, early 70s. There was a guy, and I just saw a post about this, so that's why I remember his name, Neil Ham, I think, and I think he passed away recently. He coined the term for that region, Forgotonia, because it had a 4-year university, Division I athletics. Actually, at that time they weren't Division I yet, but a 4-year, state university, Western Illinois University. Yet the only roads that led to Macomb were 2-lane highways. And there's some fascinating photos, and I love historical photos. Just phenomenal photos showing like Route 67 that leads into Macomb, and it's just backed up for miles because it's just a 2-lane highway. And, back then, the late 60s, early 70s, you had the baby boomers. So you just had an influx of college students in the late 60s and early 70s. So I think back then the university, it was around 20,000 students at Western Illinois. The town itself is, they say it's 20,000, but it's like 10,000 students, 10,000 Macomb homies. So, back then it was like 20,000, all coming in from like mainly Chicago, the Chicago suburbs, on this 2-lane highway. So the traffic's just backed up for miles and miles. So the term Forgotonia was coined. And now there's a direct route. I think it's 336, Chicago to Kansas City. So you can go from, for the longest time, there wasn't a straight shot from Chicago to Kansas City. You had to go, if you wanted a straight, like all interstate, you had to go I-80 to Des Moines and down, what's the interstate that runs from Des Moines to Kansas City, whatever that is. But now you can go 4 lanes all the way, Chicago to Kansas City through Forgotonia, because there's 4-lane highways through Forgotonia. Jenny says, LOL, Cooter, I figured you spit your coffee out when he said that. Erection Day is a suck fest, I've heard. Where's the sex spots? Election Day is a suck fest, and I approve this message. Max is with us. What's up, Max? I always end up telling myself, how much does it actually affect my day-to-day life? Exactly. Let's see. John says early 1990s. Wow, Apple fanboy, what a difference 24 hours makes. Paul Carl Cards, what's happening? Good morning to you. Andrew says that's an awesome connection. Rich is with us. What is up? Good morning. 9 likes, 43 viewers. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. And good morning to our hobby hotline talent agent who got us our first professional athlete guest last night. John asked really good questions, so I kept quiet. You both did. It was an awesome interview. Great stories. If you didn't catch it live last night, check it out. Hobby Hotline with Chicago Cubs pitcher Ethan Roberts, who is featured in Topps Update. And I don't think I have his card. It's really cool because it's got him like this, and it's got his sleeve, his tattoo sleeve, on his arm, right, center on the photo. So here we are, 33 minutes in. I don't have anything else to talk about. Let's open some Topps archives. I have 2 boxes. I was going to save both of them. What's up, Jeremy? I was going to save both of them for the Couch People Christmas party, which is Saturday, December 10th. It'll be here on the YouTube channel. And the StreamYard link will be open. So we'll do StreamYard, and everyone's invited. You don't have to rip wax, but if you want to, you're more than welcome. If you just want to come on and chit chat, that's what we're here for. Couch People Christmas party, Saturday, December 10th. We'll go from like 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. So we'll have a good time. I've got a ton of wax to open. So opening this won't hurt my arsenal, my supply of wax. And if I find I could probably go to Walmart today, and there's probably the same 5 blasters I left on Monday are probably still there. I love Topps archives. I went through a phase when I returned, and I probably talked about this before. You'll hear it again. When I went, when I got back into the hobby, I kind of dipped my feet back. I never took my feet out of the pool. I always had like at least a toe in the pool. Um, but 2012, I kind of got back in and I was actually buying new product again. And I discovered Topps Archives at probably the local Walmart. And I'm like, man, these are really cool because at the time in 2012, we didn't have so many nostalgia products. You know, Topps Heritage was still 10 years ago was still in the early 60s. And so that wasn't nostalgic to me. And Topps wasn't running all of these, 87 Topps every single year. So we didn't have, at that point in time, we didn't have a lot of like old designs on new cards. And I like thought, wow, this is fascinating. So I loved the product. And it does feel like in the last couple of years, I know a lot of people didn't prefer Heritage to Archives because of the paper stock, and the Heritage paper stock is thicker, but it does seem like the Archives paper stock has become a little thicker than. There's George's guy, Stan the Man. It does seem to be a little thicker than what it was, several years ago. So I love the 78 design. I tweeted. There's some guys that are on the 78 checklist. Roberto Clemente, Ken Griffey Jr. Are just so awesome. We've got the foil. I hate 88 Topps big, but it does look good in foil and it looks good standard size. And of course, we have to have 87 Topps designs in here. This is I love this. This is a cool card, Mariano Rivera. I'm glad my camera keeps focusing on the card and not the background. There we go. Another, and I like how they used the vintage Cubs logo in the corner. Sweet swinging Billy Williams. Such a fun product. I broke 2 blasters on Monday afternoon. You can watch those. I pulled an autograph out of one of those blasters. So we've got Ricky Henderson in the 63 design. The Ricky, come on, focus on Ricky. Ricky wants you to focus on Ricky. Come on, focus on Ricky. Focus. Okay. So the Ricky Henderson that I pulled in one of those boxes, hey, nice rookie of Bobby Witt Jr. The Ricky, Bobby Witt rookie. We just had Ricky. The Ricky that I had pulled out of one of the boxes from Monday looked like it was like somebody like just stabbed it or something. It was really bizarre, but it was only the front. It wasn't the back. It didn't go through to the back. JG says 2001 Topps Archives reserves are fire. I agree. Those are sweet cards. And there's some nice Cubs in there. 2012 Archives, one of the better recent Topps sets, in my opinion. They ended up getting way too expensive on the hobby side for 2 meh autos. I completely agree. That's why I've been on the retail chain. This is a sweet card. Debut card of Tony Gwynn. Just a sweet. This is a short print. What was I talking? Yeah, I am definitely team retail on Archives. And I think the only reason, much like Max said, the autos are met. It's like I can spend the same amount of money on retail and pull more cards. And you know how I'm a quantity guy, and I'm going to break down the price per card. But also, it seemed like every year I'd buy 5 or 6 blasters and I'd pull 2 autos, which is the guarantee in a hobby box. And unless you get really lucky, you're going to pull a fire auto out of Topps Archives. Mostly it's going to be the fan favorites like a Willie Randolph, which is what I pulled the other day. Steve says Austin Meadows was one of the best Rays players. And Austin Meadows is in that stacked 2018 rookie class with Acuna, Soto, Gleyber Torres. Who else was in there? Torres kind of fell off. Had a little resurgence this year, though. Javi gets the 78 Topps treatment. Matt, what is up? Catching a live one. Thanks for jumping on. Cooter hated the 87 design when it was new, and I still hate it now. Thought it was a weak attempt at a 62 tribute. So, and here's Brooks Robinson in that 88 big. Here's a hot take. I think 87 design is much better than 62. But I think that probably goes back to nostalgia because 87 was when I was collecting, I was just starting to get into, 87 was probably a fairly recent, year product when I was the first packs. I don't remember opening any 87s. I may have, but I do remember opening 88s. So, 87 was still new. So cards in general, here's Willie. Cards in general were new to me. And of course, you have that nostalgia factor. So that's why 87 and 62, it's like, 62's blah. Like, it has nothing on 87. Here's Nelly Cruz, the 78 design. And the reason I like 78 is because here's a sweet photo, Yogi. The reason I like 78 is because it was the first like vintage card that I had that I either owned or saw in person because my neighbor's son was 10 or 15 years older than me. So he was growing up, basically his 78 tops was to him my 88 tops. So yeah, 10 years older than me. So he had a lot, like he had just a box of like junk. And so my neighbor's like, yeah, you can have some of these cards. They're just, and they were beat up. And but I remember the first 78 tops card I saw and that I owned that my neighbor gave me was Santo Alcala of the Montreal Expos, 78 tops. So I think that's why I like that 78 design. It's nostalgic for me. I remember owning 78. I'm like, oh my God, these are 10 years old. Like 10 years, when you're 6, 7 years old, 10 years is more than a lifetime. Now it's like you grow up and that's the funny thing about time. And now it's like 10 years ago was 2012. Like I was hitting deer on my way home from a Peoria Chiefs game 10 years ago. This is a cool insert. The postcards, Joey Votto. But it's like, damn, 10 years ago is nothing anymore. But back then, 10 years was like, oh my God, 10 years. I mean, I thought 87 was vintage in 89. Like, these are 2 years old. That's like 25% of my life. Let's see. Max says 62 cards. Cars are a PIT, a PETA, a pain in the ass. Worst production of a vintage set tops put out. I am annoyed by 62's off centering, especially of the Lou Brock. It's super hard to find a Lou Brock. Not even like 70-30, like give me 70-30 or 75-25. Most Lou Brocks are like 90-10. So off center. Steve says, anybody wants some 87 tops? I've got a stockpile. Clark says the 78 Clemente from Archives is sweet. I have not pulled one out of this blaster. Oh, this is my first Tatis. That's cool. That's a cool image. DR says, morning all, been knocked down for the last 5 days. Finally caught a live stream. Glad to have you back. Hope you're feeling better. Steve says, my favorite was 79 tops. I was 14. Who's this? Oh, Pete Alonso. This is a cool, I love this. These are short prints, number 304. Max says, off center and edges are awful. Rich says, the 69 Lou Brock is worse centered than the 62. Oh, damn. Here's my guy, Patrick Wisdom, in the 87 design. This will look sweet. I'll hopefully see Patrick either at the Cubs convention or at spring training. Oh, I got to put him in my Cubs pile. And the last pack. We've got Austin Riley. We didn't pull a serial number out of this box. Corey Seager. We've got Brian Reynolds. Corbin Burns. Oh, Tim Anderson. There you go, Zach and Porter. Vladdy Jr. on the foil. And then we go to the 87s. No serial. I don't think there was a single. Some of the foils had. I pulled a serial number foil. And I doubt there's a short print or anything. but just might have been a dud box. So Topps Archives, love this set, love this product. I've got a lot of shipping to do today. Otherwise, I'd probably run over and buy more just because I love opening this. Then I've got to think, okay, I've got enough cards to list. By the way, I did list a bunch of Topps Archives and Topps Update in my eBay store. So those are listed. Link to my eBay stores in the description. If you buy 7 or more cards at regular price, you will receive an automatic 25% discount at checkout. So that link is in the description to my eBay store. So check that out. Let's see. Terry says, my first in-person autograph, a Warren Spahn on a 62 Topps. That's very cool. My first, I think Earl Cunningham was my first in-person autograph. 1990, the score, and I ruined it because we didn't have central air. The house, my dad built the house I grew up in, but he was like anti-cable TV. He was anti-air conditioning. He was anti-living a comfortable life. God dang it, Dad. Give me some gosh darn air conditioning and some damn cable TV. Child abuse. So we didn't have air conditioning. And I was so proud of my Earl Cunningham 1990 score autograph in blue Sharpie that we had one of those. Remember in the 80s, you had those gigantic faux oak entertainment centers. They had the cutout for the TV and like, oh, you can fit your gigantic 27-inch TV. Remember when 19-inch was the standard. Now it's like 19-inch. Like 19 inch is like your computer monitor. Actually, it's a small computer monitor. Like now it's a laptop is a 19-inch monitor. Anyway, and it's got the glass doors, and you put your Nintendo Entertainment System on one shelf and your VCR in the next. And in the bottom, you put your encyclopedia collection. The 80s. But I put my parents allowed me to put my Earl Cunningham 1990 score autographed in blue Sharpie on the top of the entertainment center next to my Pinewood Derby trophy. And it sat there for, I don't know, probably a year. And then I took it out. It was in a car. I think it was just in a regular card saver. But remember, there's no air conditioning. And summers get hot, sticky, humid in Illinois. I pulled that son of a biscuit out of there, and it like tore the head off Earl Cunningham, and I had to throw it away. So I looked and looked and looked, and I really didn't look until I was like in my 20s, but it's like, man, I really miss my Earl Cunningham 1990 score autographed in blue Sharpie. And it took me about 15 years. There were some, and Earl Cunningham like does not sign. So at any given time, there's probably like, you can look up a random player and there's going to be a bunch of autographs, but not Earl Cunningham. Let's just type in Earl Cunningham on eBay, Earl Cunningham autograph. And sometimes there's like a 1990 Topps. Wow. There's actually one in blue Sharpie. Here I said it, $15 plus $1.50 free shipping. It might have been when, wow, there's a whole bunch of them. I wonder if he's starting to sign again. Well, actually and by a whole bunch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a whole bunch. Usually it's 2, but there is one. I think there's 2 in blue Sharpie. Yeah, there's 2 1990 scores in blue Sharpie. One is $15 plus $1.50 shipped, and the other one is $26.99 plus $5.30 shipped. There's a 90 Topps in gold Sharpie, which is slick, $17 plus $4 shipping. So the cheapest Earl Cunningham autographed baseball card on eBay looks to be $16.50. So it's a rarity. So the one I found, I think I paid $10 for. I bought 2. The guy had 3 of them. I bought 2 of the 3. Just in case I ripped the head off another one on accident from the humidity. So I'm shocked to see there's 8 on eBay. David, what's up? Good morning. Just saying hi. 44 watching and only 14 likes. I dropped 6. They probably didn't like my Earl Cunningham story. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Andrew says, I guess you got to rip the other one. Steve says, my first in-person autograph was Lou Brock. Met him at a card show. It was free on 1978 Topps. So the Earl Cunningham was my first auto. The summer of 1990, he was playing for the Peoria Chiefs, the number 1 draft pick the year prior in 1989. He was at a Knights of Columbus card show in Kewanee, Illinois. And I think it was $5 for his auto. And this is in like 1990. Maybe it was only $1. Because $5 seems like a lot of for an like Mickey Mantle was charging $5 back in 1990. But if it was after, because there was a time when like Joe DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle were starting to charge a lot. I don't know if it was quite as early as 1990, but it was probably around that time. Maybe it was $5 for the pair because it was Earl Cunningham and Pedro Castellanos, who had some Cubs cards like Bowman. I don't think he ever made the show, but he was a top prospect and he played in Peoria as well. But I don't remember getting his autograph. Maybe I got it on like a piece of paper. I don't know. Because in 1990, I probably didn't have any cards because Castellanos wasn't like the only cards he had was probably a Peoria Chiefs card at that time. So that was my first auto. Maybe it was like $2. Maybe it was like $2 for an auto. 5 seems pretty extreme in 1990 for a minor league player. So that was my first autograph. Knights of Columbus card show, Kewanee, Illinois. Earl Cunningham with Pedro Castellanos. Let's see. Matt says, Steve says we had the working TV on top of the non-working TV. I was a little too young for the TV. I had friends who did the TV on top of the TV because the like Matt says, the 600-pound Zenith television encased in wood, that was usually the TV that stopped working. It weighed 1,000 pounds. So it's like, we're not moving it. So we're just going to buy a new 19-inch TV and put it on top of the, and the 600-pound Zenith was like a 13-inch screen, but it was like 90 inches of solid oak that weighed a ton. Cooter said our 19-inch TV sat on top of the non-working console TV like everyone else in the 1970s. Andrew says you're broadcasting it worldwide. Of course, they are on eBay. That is true because I've received multiple emails and messages regarding Earl Cunningham autographs, multiple. So I guess it doesn't surprise me. And since there's so few, like I can't be the only person looking to collect an Earl Cunningham autograph. So fortunately, and I have a few now. I've received a couple in trades. I might have a half dozen by now. I bought the 290 score in blue Sharpie. Somebody traded before I was able to find those. Somebody traded me a 90 Topps. And I think I received another one in trade, 90 Topps. And then I think I've received some minor league autographs. And I found one of his game used bats on eBay and bought it for like, and here's the thing. And I shouldn't talk about this because I'm creating competition. So the Earl Cunningham game used bat was on eBay for like $15 plus shipping at auction. And so I bid, but I bid like $100. I would have paid $150 for a stupid Earl Cunningham game used bat. That's how much I wanted it. And there's another player, which if you followed me, you probably know that I would do the same. So if anything ever surfaces of that, I shouldn't give it away. That, oh, I'm not going to put this at $15. I'm going to put this at $150. Make this guy pay. But fortunately, nobody else wanted, nobody in that 7 days wanted an Earl Cunningham game used bat. So I was able to secure it for like $25 shipped. Christian says, first in-person auto, Ernie Harwell. We were rushing to our seats for a game at Tiger Stadium. Ernie was walking the other way, rushing to the booth for first pitch, and still stopped to sign my program. That's very cool. Ed says, what's up, Ed? Just want to say good morning. In meetings today, we'll catch the replay. Thanks for jumping on. Appreciate it. So that's what I had for today. Didn't really have anything to talk about, but we were able to manage rambling on for almost 1 hour. Cooter says, first in-person auto was Lloyd Wayner when I was 6. He and his wife sat behind us in a minor league game. So Lloyd, was it Paul? So my wife's grandfather was a diehard sports fan and lived his entire life his entire life minus his last 6 months. They moved to Madison. But he lived in Pittsburgh for 98 plus years. He passed away a few days after he turned 99. Like he would tell me stories about the Wayner brothers. Was it Paul and Lloyd? I know Paul was one. I can't remember the other guy's name. Must have been Lloyd. His favorite player was Adam Komorowski. And we went to Steel City has a mall, like outlet store at the mall, at one of the malls in Pittsburgh. And so when they were still living, we would visit every summer. And I wanted to go to the card shop. And he was able to get around and everything, but he certainly wasn't a mall person, and neither was I. But fortunately, where the Steel City, and I don't know if it's still there, but where it was at the time, it was kind of like in the corner next to Sears. I don't know if Sears was still around, but it was next to an Anchor store. So it wasn't like a far walk. And he's like, I want to go and look at sports memorabilia. It was kind of a disappointment because it was more of a sports memorabilia store more than anything. Like it was just like jerseys and autographs, and there wasn't a big card selection or anything like that. But one of the employees said, can I help you guys with anything? And David, yes, David's a Pittsburgh guy. Paul and Lloyd Wayner, Big and Little Poison. Yes. Thank you. I didn't realize they were from Oklahoma. Excellent. So one of the employees said, can I help you with anything? And so Grandpa said, do you have any Adam Komorowski cards? And I'm sure the employee had no idea who Adam Komorowski was. And when he first told me about Adam Komorowski, like, do you have any? He is in Conlon collection. So I did have an Adam Komorowski Conlon collection card. And then I bought a Gowdy. He's in, I think, 1933 Gowdy. And I'm sure he's in other sets from that era as well. So I bought like a beater on eBay. Let's see. Andrew says the Earl auto card should get graded. Kyle says, crazy to meet a NASCAR Hall of Fame auto. Matt Kenseth gets discarded at Goodwill for you to find. So Kyle bought some cards for me on eBay, and he's a NASCAR collector. So I'm like, it was just a 9-page. So Kyle, it was like a loose binder page. It was like in the center of a 9-page with other Matt Kenseth cards. And the autograph was in the center. An autograph Matt Kenseth card was in the center. And it was in like a plastic seal. Like it was a 9-pocket page in like this plastic seal. Like Goodwill didn't want people to like pull the cards out, which I guess is fair. And it was like they were trying to sell it for $15, like the 9 cards. The other 8 cards, it was the autograph and 8 cards, and the cards were just commons. And so I had to like cut it open to get that to free the card. So they probably realized nobody's going to buy these Matt Kenseth cards for $15. Let's throw them in the pallet. That one guy will come pick it up. Matt, what's up, Matt? Yes, the Rockford show is this Saturday. So this Saturday, Rockford, Northern Illinois Card Show, Rockford, Illinois, Rock Church on Harrison Avenue. I'll be there with some fresh quarter boxes. So if you're in the area, come out, see me. I'll have a ton of new cards, basketball, football, baseball. So I'll be there. Bulk discounts. I'll have the fill-a-box deals. So come out, see me, Rockford, this Saturday at the Rock Church for the Northern Illinois Card Show. A week from Saturday is the Madison Card Show, November 19th. At the Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive, 9 to 3, 125 tables. So that's Saturday, November 19th. And then the Janesville Card Show is the following week, November 26th, at the Holiday Inn Conference Center right off the interstate in Janesville, Wisconsin. So we will. I'll be set up in Janesville. I will not be set up in Madison, but I will be set up in Rockford and in Janesville. My buddy Matt will be right next to me at the Rockford show. So stop by and check out his selection as well this Saturday. And thank you. Madison Card Show, Saturday, November 19th. So that's what I had for today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back live tomorrow morning. So since I am going to be en route to the card show Saturday, no show Saturday, we'll do a review of the card show on Sunday morning. So probably sometime between 8 and 9 a.m. on Sunday morning for the review. But I will be live tomorrow's Thursday. So Thursday and Friday, I'll be live 7 a.m. Central. So like and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great Wednesday. Take out the trash if it's trash day for you. And we'll see you tomorrow.